absolutely free and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch.
So a little one-person trampoline, very,
I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. And welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Tara Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best version of yourself, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. We're all about personal development here, help to inspire people to start their day off on the right foot. We're big believers of momentum. It's Monday. Maybe that's what the M in Monday stands for. I know you're probably feeling a little bit tired. You're like, Tanner, jeez, it is early, but that's okay. Getting to the grindstone, kind of maybe putting something in our heads that's a little helpful today. And today we're going to be talking just a little bit about history, a little history to preface our ideas and the more things we're going to talk about. Expectations. FDR. Let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. FDR, the 32nd president of the United States, sworn into office. Oh, these are my notes. I got to get over here. Okay. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, sworn into office in 1933. This was when there was the big bank failure. Stuff was failing left and right. It was a really terrible depression. People were going out with food. People have lost complete trust with the banking system. And it was really bad. And also, something about leadership and something about Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And I wanted to talk about FDR today because I've been trying to set better expectations with myself. And I believe I've been multiple things that I pulled from my notes and like reading off of him have really motivated me to set better expectations, to be able to understand and see how important this is in taking action. So Franklin Delano Roosevelt, his big deal, or what a lot of people remember him in foreign history, was like his first 100 days in office were, to say the least, they were electric. He got a lot of stuff done. He put in like massive organizations that you still hear of today, like FDIC. They insure, like if you take money to the bank, they insure it so you can like get it back. So government backing that. And also the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, making sure, like, I get it, Wall Street's not totally perfect, but it is so much better than it used to be. Stock manipulation, insider trading was a lot more brutal back then. So people would literally just swing the market 10, 15% a day, just like for selfish profits and stuff like that. And these organizations really stop people from working in the markets and also owning the company, so getting some good separation of that. It was a really big deal. It was really helpful for the economy, and there's so much more that he's done and overcome. I mean, aside from the fact that the man was in a wheelchair, he had polio. So if we can take a second to just acknowledge FDR, thanks. I really appreciate all that you've taught me and the mentorship you've given me, and I encourage more people to dive into the history of these types of people. Like the leadership, just the intensity and the will to win makes going live at 7 a.m. so much easier. It's like, okay, these people really wanted the best for their country, good leadership. And I know sometimes nowadays we can get a little turned off from the political sphere and the leaders who are head of the helm today in 2023, but it doesn't discourage me from still looking back and taking what I can and applying the filters. And today we're going to talk about expectations. So thank you, Franklin, FDR. Shout out to one of the best to ever do it. You're one of my favorites, and I really appreciated all the hard work that you and your team were able to accomplish. So, okay, FDR. So what were some things that FDR said? And when it came to getting things done at a good pace, he was really big about conversating. He wasn't like Abraham Lincoln and Theodore Roosevelt, some other of my favorite presidents. They were like ferocious readers. And Franklin, in the history books, it portrays him more as like listening and conversating with people, setting expectations on what is going on. So I thought he was a prime example to model our topics of expectations. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kind of jump right. These are 7 reasons why. 7 reasons why I benefit from setting expectations and why I believe you can too. So maybe this Monday we can set expectations, sit in your own seat, my situation, what is going on this Monday morning, thinking like, okay, how can I set better expectations for my clients, for my friends and family, for my planning, for my schedule, whatever it may be, but setting expectations to help set yourself up for success. The separation is in the preparation. It's a famous quote. I don't know who said it. Forgive me, but it is imprinted in my brain and I will never forget that. The separation is in the preparation, and setting expectations can help with preparation. So let's jump to the board this morning. And we're going to go right into it. Clear. Tip number one from FDR, clear communication. Communication is a long word in cursive. It seems like I just keep going and going and going. Number 1, tip, clear communication. No one is a mind reader. A mind reader. People cannot read my mind. I have to remember this. I have to remind myself of this. No one can read my mind. When it comes to setting expectations, having clear communication, understanding that the other person doesn't know what it is I'm talking about, how I'm going about it. So being able to lay this out in a clear and concise way, FDR talks about how that can help with people taking more consistent action. Number 2, productivity increase. Productivity increase when expectations. Call this decision fatigue. Decision fatigue. So productivity increase. So we want to be careful of decision fatigue. I hope I spelled fatigue right. Productivity increase, decision fatigue. So if we just don't have to make a decision, so we have decided that we're going to go live at 7 a.m. every single weekday morning to try and help other one-person businesses, entrepreneurs, business owners, help them stay more accountable and start their days off on a positive note. We're trying to have positive energy go into them, maybe help learn something, help their employees learn something. So we can eliminate the decision of going, and then it's just decided and we're done. I think one of the hardest things, think about arguments or frustrations of like, what do we want for dinner? If the decision is made and the expectation is laid out and it's clearly communicated with who we're working with, then our productivity goes up because we just eliminate having to make a million extra decisions. So laying it on the front end, setting out expectations that way can be very helpful. Okay, number 2, productivity increases. Number 3, accountability. There's something powerful. I've taken a bunch of coaching courses. I do coaching, just immersed myself, read dozens of coaching books, and so much do they talk about the power of accountability. So, accountability. Lost my chalk. It was getting too small. I could barely write with it anyway. That's an N. Accountability. So a big thing of what I do in coaching is holding people accountable. I'm going to make you tell me What expectations are you laying out for this week? What is it that you want to be doing? Who do you represent? So maybe we're working on a purpose statement for the company. We're trying to work on a personal purpose statement for you. And then I'm checking in with you, holding you accountable, be like, okay, did this get done? How does this match up with our values and our vision for the company, for ourselves, where we're trying to take this thing? And then just having someone in your corner. There's something very powerful about telling somebody else what it is that you want to do and having the confidence behind that. So maybe one of the challenges would be, okay, I'm going to go tell somebody one of my goals today. I'm going to go tell somebody that I'm going to lose the 10 pounds. I'm going to be eating better, healthier. And you ask, will you help me hold me a little more accountable? And be open-minded. Don't be that person who asks somebody to get help, or maybe that is the whole point, right? So you're asking somebody, it's like, hey, I'm doing this. And you're telling, let's hold each other accountable. And then you're checking in with each other. Because so many times human beings will do more for others than they will for themselves. They'll do more for others more than they do for themselves. I know I fall victim to this quite often, and I'm sure you guys can relate as well. So accountability, trying to set yourself up to be more accountable, can help by when we lay out expectations on the front end. So accountability. Okay. Tip number 4, effective planning. Planning. You got to have a plan. Planning. I help people create life maps, try to set up where we are today, where we're trying to go in the future, what's the fun stuff we get to enjoy in between. So the power of planning, we can do this by setting expectations, by understanding, okay, where is it that I really am trying to go? Where is it that I am right here today, and figuring out the gaps in between. And to do this, I think expectations ties into this really nicely, because if I can set the actions, more than likely we know what to do. We just are not in emotional state, or so we're not willing to do it. That's usually the difference between emotions and logic. Like everyone, if knowledge was the answer, then we'd all be billionaires with six packs. I've heard that before. But I understand that my emotions are what are in the driver's seat. And then I'm hoping that by planning, then I can help steer the emotions, steer towards excitement, steer towards the understanding that I'm excited about what I got going on in the future. I'm excited about the chances that I get to do this right now, because not everyone's privileged enough to do that. And I can plan this out. I can tie it to, so setting the expectations is deeply involved by planning. So maybe you want to plan out your week, maybe you want to plan out your day, or maybe just have some type of tracker. Maybe you want to get with a coach or something, but effective planning and seeing how we can be better about planning to help take some of the stress and the chaos off of life. Okay, number 5, decision making. We talked a little bit about decision fatigue. Decision making. So getting up, decision making, I decided, I set the expectations of this week. I want to get up at 5 a.m. this week. And I got up at, I think I was literally out of bed and dressed by 5:15. So there's about a 15-minute window where I could have been up a little earlier, but I still got up and I was still proud of myself. I was like, okay, got up 5:15, time to head downstairs and start looking at some social media stuff. So decision making, just deciding, can be the expectation. So what do you want to decide on? Do you want to get up earlier in the morning? Do you want to go to bed earlier at night? Do you want to replace reading books instead of watching TV shows? That's been a huge help in my life recently. Less TV, more reading books, and it's helping me feel a lot sharper. Like just reading about FDR over the last month or so, it's like, damn, like this guy was able to do so much versus watching this same Vikings bullshit that is done. I don't want to. So there's time for entertainment. I don't want to condemn the crap out of all enjoyment out of life. It's just there needs to be like a time where I take a stand for myself. And I hope you can relate this to your own situation. There needs to be a time where I stand up for myself and understand this is not pulling me towards where I want to go. Reading this literature and having the content to share with people and to better understand who I want to become, how I'm going to go about it, is more important to me than getting the relaxing feeling of watching a show, which just makes me, whenever I watch too much TV before bed, I sleep like shit anyway, versus I sleep like a baby when I read books for a couple hours before bed. So maybe you just need to make a decision and set the expectation of what it is that you really want to do this week and what you want to get done. Decision making, we don't want to have to make too many decisions too often. We'll fatigue out. Number 6, this is probably my favorite of setting expectations, is reducing conflicts. Reducing conflicts. People will argue about things that are irrelevant. True or true? Yes or yes. People will argue about things that we're not even talking about the same thing. And this happens all the time. All the time. I'll have this point. I just want to hear myself talk to a point. I don't know if you've ever heard that or thought that before. It's like, man, what are we even arguing about? If you lay out the expectation and you know what you want and you know where you're going and you know the task in between, and this is communicated in a clear, concise way, then we can really reduce a lot of the conflicts. And conflicts are heavy, so heavy. It's hard to, so many times, some of my clients, I'm working with this person and they're really bogging me down. They're dragging me down and I don't know what to do about it. And it just is so evident that avoiding conflicts is a lot better than just diving into conflicts because we are too lazy to set expectations for people. Too lazy to set expectations for people. So I believe if we can set better expectations and listen to FDR, then we can help reduce conflicts with people, because we have to work with people. We have to communicate with them. We have to get stuff done, and they have to be involved. No person has all the skills or the traits to do it by themselves, right? So lastly, a point that I wanted to put on here, and this is more like a bonus than number 7, I suppose, but I'll put it over here. So 90%, 10%. I'll explain what this is in a second. 90%, 10%. So this is a business, something I read in a business book a long time ago, and it's always stuck with me. 90% of the work is done in the first 10% of the process. Say it again. 90% of the work is done in the first 10% of the process. That includes making decisions. That includes setting the expectations. That includes the clear communication, setting the rules and the boundaries. If we can do all this on the front end, then we can save hundreds of hours of conflicts and a bunch of other bullshit and just pain, stress, and heaviness in our lives. So if we can continue to take this philosophy, separation is in the preparation, doing the stuff in the front end, so people understanding that no one is a mind reader. They can't read my mind, so I got to be able to communicate with them to tell them what it is that I want to get done, and vice versa, how they think I can help them. So if we can tie this stuff together, then maybe the front end of the process can continue to become more clear. What is that for you? What is that first 10% that you could help improve to make it easier, to make 90% of the load that much easier? This is pretty in line with, a lot of people are familiar with Pareto's distribution. 20% of the work gives you 80% of the results. most things in life are like this, where it's just kind of skewed on like this small piece is what I'm really good at and where I get the meat and potatoes, and this is what it does for me. So understanding that these laws and principles do work for us. I know personally, just setting like automated messaging and follow-up messaging and creating content can help make the lead generation of the process, because it's sometimes I struggle sometimes getting new clients and kind of persuading them that having a coach in your corner and doing my 6-week camp will change your life in so many dramatic ways that you'll be really happy that you did it. That's why I offer money back guarantees. But we can do all of this with technology and setting expectations with assistants, video editors, website developers, with all the team players that I get to work with. By setting these expectations up front, then we can make that first 10% of the process, the huge workload, so much easier, less stressful, reduce conflicts, and then have that accountability and get better results. So I hope this ties together well. We're going to do a quick little wrap up for my video editor, but we went a little over on time. But I hope this was helpful for you guys. I'm going to kind of run through this. So these were 7 reasons why I benefit from setting expectations. Having clear communication always makes everything easier. Productivity's increased so we can get better results. Making sure that we're held accountable by somebody other than ourselves, because we always do more for others than ourselves. Effective planning, you got to have a plan. Decision making, we want to steer away from decision fatigue. Reduced conflicts. Conflicts can be so heavy and they can beat the crap out of us to the point to where we just don't want to emotionally take any more action. Like, no, thank you. And then also understanding that the separations and the preparation and getting that work done in the beginning can be exactly what we need to separate us, to help our businesses grow, help us grow as employees, as partners, as friends, and as people in general. So again, shout out to the GOAT, FDR, for helping inspire today's episode. 32nd president of the United States came in, really tore stuff up. First 100 days is where his big splash came into the world. If you want to learn more about him, I would say this whitehouse.gov has a bunch of cool stuff on him. There's articles, there's onlines, and there's a book that I'm reading right now called Leadership in Turbulent Times that I really enjoy. But that's all I had for today. So hopefully FDR and setting expectations can be applied to this amazing, wonderful Monday. Of course, the message stays the same. If you want to work with me, I offer a 6-week life master class called Life Mapping, where we map out your life of where you are today, where you're trying to go, and then what are some fun stuffs that truly represent us that we can do in between. It's an incredible process. It's been blowing my mind. A lot of my friends, family, clients been getting a lot of positive feedback. So if you'd like to learn more about that, send me a direct message. It's fully refundable. I give full refunds if it didn't work out for you. I understand, because I'm truly that confident that it can make your life that much better. So if you want to work with me personally, send me a direct message. Other than that, check us out, and we'll be back here with another episode live 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for another episode of the Talk Share Morning Show to help hold you accountable to your goals, start the day off right, and build that good momentum. Thanks, friends. I'm out of here. Until next time, have an incredible, incredible day. Good morning to you all. Thanks. Peace out.